Add-on modules for alarm control. The fourth module is the alarm configurator. 250 different alarms can be created here, with up to 250 messages to up to 20 contacts, each contact with 1 or 2 email addresses. An alarm must always be linked to an object or a group address. It is triggered by a certain matching condition. The alarm module registers current alarm states and shows them in detail. This can be, for example, a pop-up window in the visualization, a group telegram sent to the KNX, or an email sent to one or more of the contacts. There are 3 important settings which must be set mandatorily. Contacts. A list of contacts who should get information about an alarm. Messages. Here you define the text messages and the associations between those and the email addresses. Alarms. Here we have a list of trigger conditions used for the alarms. Let us create a contact now. Click on Contacts, plus, and enter a last name in the dialog box. A red asterisk marks a mandatory input. The second name is optional. It must be saved before you proceed to edit the email address via the button Emails, Edit. Enter a valid email address, click the Add button. You may enter also a second email address and then Close. In this moment it is already saved. This contact will be required later for the assignment of the alarm to the specified people who shall receive the message. Next, we define a message. In the tab Messages, the message texts for the project are defined. The created items are shown as lines in this list. By clicking on the plus icon, a new message is created. Enter a sensible name, for example, wind speed limit exceeded. A similar text can be entered on the subject. And in the email message box. Both entries are not mandatory, but very helpful if used. In emails, the just created new email address can be selected via the Edit button. It is possible to link more than one email address to the same message. Theoretically, all 20 contacts with all their 40 addresses can be used. Click on Accept to save the setting. As additional feature, with an alarm also a KNX telegram can be sent, which is used, for example, for internal alarm signalization. You know this dialog already from the components. Clear deletes the message, Save brings you back to the main screen, and if you, as here, have defined a new one, then it will become visible in the list. We proceed to the screen Alarms and click on the plus. In this dialog, you have to define the properties of the new alarm, the trigger object, the comparison condition, the related value threshold, and which message has to be sent if the alarm condition becomes true. In which category do we have the alarm? By default, there is only one, but you can define new categories directly here. The categories serve for an easier distinction of the severity of an alarm. The alarm trigger can be distinguished between single message after threshold crossing. Here it is called first time, or each time a value matches the trigger condition. Then the setting is always. As we have chosen the wind speed, we now link the group address wind and define a threshold. This data point can be defined either as meter per second or kilometers an hour. We choose kilometers an hour. And save it. Don't forget the decimals for the display. Now enter the threshold value. I suggest to use 20 kilometers an hour. Then we finally select the message which we have created before and save the new alarm. A new line in the list of alarms has been created. To be able to have this message sent by email, a valid SMTP server has to be configured, as I have mentioned before. So let's have a closer look at the email configuration. Make sure you have all information from your provider ready to be entered here. It is the host ID of the sending mail server. The port number, your name, authentication, yes or no, your full email username, or simply your valid email address on this provider's account. With authentication, also the valid password and the authentication mechanism, SSL or TTLS if applicable. If everything is correctly entered, save it and it will work from this moment on. The alarms are organized in a predefined web page. This simplifies the handling of them. The access is possible either through a page link or a pop-up window in the currently displayed web page, which is triggered by an alarm. In my sample project, we want to watch how alarms are shown. If an alarm pops up while the visualization is running on screen, in the lower right corner the alarm dialog becomes visible. By click on Go to Alarm page, the current alarms are shown. They are listed according to their category, in our case, all. Under Status, you see the current alarm status. The red bell signalizes that this alarm still is active. Acknowledge shows the acknowledgement status. Date and time. The timestamp of the alarm event. Alarm name and limit value. Self-explanatory. Trigger and current. Here the trigger value which led to the alarm is shown. Below the current value of the monitored data point. Now when I click the OK symbol, the alarm is acknowledged the OK symbol is moved onto the bell. All historic alarms are transferred to the alarm logging list, which also can be called up in a separate screen. Hint: this list is non-permanently stored. It will be lost in case of a restart of the IPCC. If you want to make sure that such alarm messages are not lost, you must send them all by email.